Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. This is again another unscheduled live stream. I did that because obviously there's a few questions in the community, and I thought, you know what, I might as well answer them all on a live stream. So yep, you can probably see I'm a bit rough today. I haven't shaved, right? I'm not in the mood. Been very busy. It's been a couple of long days, right? And I'm talking about like 2 days in a row kind of a thing, right? It's just been manic because obviously BTC has moved up. There are certain thresholds that we set up, target zones basically, and it's reached all of those targets and smashed right through them. So I did notice a few bits and bobs on my charts where the targets that I set up, we actually went up about 2 grand more than the targets, which is great, right? That means that somewhere along the line my maths was inaccurate, hence why remember I mentioned on the last live stream that I did see this number come up between 133 and 137, right? So now it makes more sense. I'm like, okay, so this makes sense. Hence, you know, because the way I did the maths, and remember, I didn't know the future, right? Also, if the lighting is bad, guys, it isn't kind of nighttime here in the UK right now. 7:53 p.m. so it's a bit dark, right? And I've just found a nice little spot where I've got about 50 megabits of internet speed. So please do let me know in the chat, in the comments right now, how the audio is and how the video is, right? So let's continue talking about this. So I realized that my targets were set up at 78k, for example, and 86k, but we actually smashed through by exactly 2 grand on both occasions. So that makes more sense why I'm seeing the 133 to 137 as my next level of a target. Also, another thing I wanted to answer as well is there's been a lot of people are concerned is like how fast we're moving, and I didn't want to say anything. I was just like, okay, you know, my crazy maths, right? I kind of just vaguely say this. But what I mean by this, there's a fundamental fact there, right? It's quite important, actually. You need to understand this. So one of the numbers, the way I calculate, so normally people will calculate, 1 grand a day, 2 grand a day, etc. But I'm actually doing percentage, and I'm actually compounding the percentage because it's all about compounding. So you probably notice on the charts that I've shared on Discord where I kind of jump a significant number, like I'll go from 78k to all the way to 86k all of a sudden, right? And you probably wonder, what the hell is this guy doing, right? Actually, it's 8 grand, right? So the way I'm doing the math, it's like 10%. I'm just adding 10% more, adding 10% more, and that kind of compounds. So this compounding effect obviously gives us a higher output, right? So every time you compound a percentage, it will give you a higher output. Now, of course, nothing is set in stone. I don't know the future, as I've mentioned many times, and everything I say here, guys, it's not financial advice. So, you know, it's just, I just happen to get lucky with the specific numbers that I throw out there, because I'm not one of those who keeps on throwing random numbers. I don't give you all of this. In fact, on my last live stream, you probably noticed that I've clearly said that 81k, 82k, 83k, they don't matter. 86k matters, right? I was very specific about that, and we went to 88k. Great. Today we're at 89k. Great, right? So I mean, yesterday we broke 89k anyway. But the point is once we start moving in these higher numbers, what we need to start looking at is the overall structure of the market. So for example, are people being hesitant? Is there enough greed in the market, right? Or are people starting to panic? Are people taking profits out? Now, profits, last night a lot of people took profits out, and I congratulate them. Well done to all of you who have taken some profits out or some initial investments out. You guys did the absolute correct thing, right? So there's no harm in taking profits out anytime, right? As we move up, you need to do this, right? So a lot of the people who have I'm not sure if I can see the chat. Let me see if I can see the chat. I'm not sure what's going on. If you're here, guys, say something, so at least I know that the chat is alive. So what was I saying? So a lot, you know, there was some concerns basically, it's moving too fast, but again, it's all kind of a weird maths. I mean, Einstein probably said it the best way. He said that the 8th wonder is compounding, right? So if we had an 8th wonder in the world, right, it would be compounding, and that's what I believe it is. I'm not even sure if he's 100% said this, but Mansa Musa says the truth is always out there. Absolutely, my brother, the truth is always out there. Everything I say on these videos and my Discord and this and that is kind of fact and an evidence that I leave as a trace, so you guys could come back and say you said that, right? and I'm fully accountable for anything I say. So end of the day, that's the reason why I say it's not financial advice, but at the same time, there are plenty of things I will say here, and I have full conviction, and I stand by what I say, right? So if I've turned around and says, oh guys, the market is looking bearish to me, I stand by it because it does look bearish to me, right? And then obviously over time it will come true and someone will know. If I turn around and say market's looking bullish, and I mean that, and I stand by that, I won't change my mind every other day, right? So that's how it is. So I'm always looking at the bigger time frame, the big time zones, or whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm looking at. So for me, everything is about the bigger picture. I'm not looking at the smaller picture. I don't care what the market does every single day, right? I don't care if the market looks bloody today. It's not. As far as I'm concerned, the market's looking fantastic, right? I could see an entire red screen in front of me if I go to the what's it called, Coin 360 or whatever, anywhere where they show the bubble maps, right? The point is it could be entirely bloody, but hold on, I'm looking at it in a complete different perspective, right? And for me, perspective is important. The way I'm looking at it, I'm like, we pumped from 78k to 88k. So what if we're down 5%, 10%, or even 10%? I don't worry. So what? Right? It doesn't make any difference, right? Because end of the day, we just broke past a milestone. And I'm going to talk about milestones as well, because there are some milestones that I'm looking at. And I've mentioned this before as well, how I kind of calculate certain things where when I'm looking at altcoins, I want to see Ethereum move. That's my indicator for the altcoins. And so far, I am seeing okay. So Ethereum sitting at 3,200, nothing that great. Ethereum 3,500 is the next level that we need to get to. As soon as we get there, again, that's not that great. I want to see 3,900 because that's when the magic starts to happen. But before that, a lot of the other coins have started to shine. They have started to pop, right? So overall, if they do manage to get to the point where, the market wants to be parabola, right? We want to get a big parabola. And the parabola is going to probably last about a week, 2 weeks maximum, maybe even 3 weeks if we're lucky, right? So the parabola is not going to last not that long. So whatever we can get now, any percentage we can get now is very, very important. So if we can get 5% a day, 10% a day, guys, it's brilliant. And of course, you've got to look at the overall number. When you're doing right today, we're almost 88k right now, right? So it's $88,808 right now. So let's just say 90k, right? If you're looking at 90k, 5% of 90k, right? That's 4,500. We just pumped 4,500 in a single day, right? So that's how you got to look at it. And they all add up. And remember what I said, compounding right in the beginning. So when they start to compound, you're going to start getting a higher output. That's all you got to remember, right? So I'm sure I don't have to break it down or give you an analogy on how compounding works, but compounding is just a magic number. Like, you can add a percentage to it and you can get to 1 million very, very quickly. So similar way, when you're looking at the charts, forget about what the price is. It doesn't matter if BTC is sitting at 80k or 90k or 100k. It doesn't matter. What matters is how many percent are we going up and how many percent are we coming down. So for example, there are some coins that have pumped 100% last 4 or 5 days. And I'm doing the generalization. So every day they pumped 20-30%. Great. So overall they pumped about 100%. And then yesterday, as soon as the candle closed, they started bleeding about 10%. I'm like, so I'm still 90% up. So that's the kind of psychology you have to have, right? It doesn't matter how high they go. And of course, the altcoins, remember, they are going to be a little bit more volatile. They're going to dump a lot harder and they're going to pump a lot harder as well. So if you see a 10% on a BTC, expect 30, 40, 50% on an altcoin, right? And it could be anything. And I'm not picking any single altcoin. Remember the other day I said, look, you want to look for coins, buy whatever. It doesn't matter. When there's a hype, when the market's moving, people are excited, everything starts to move. Right, that's a reality. Everything starts to move, right? Apart from the scam coins, right? They're going to start exiting and doing whatnot, right? So be careful. That's all I want to say. Now, while I'm on that, I wanted to mention, so there was 2 coins that were shared to me, and I'm not hyping anything here, right? But it's more of a caution. I'm not going to name them either, because if I name them, then people are going to think I'm advertising them. I'm not advertising them, right? Let me just be honest with you, right? So there was 2 coins just recently, about 45 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago, was handed over to me. And the person knows who they are, and they're probably on the chat as well. And what I'm going to say is, one of the coin looks okay, right? One of the coin looks okay. It was the first one they shared to me. It looks okay. I don't see much of an issue. It is being traded on some of the low-level exchanges, MEXC and XYZ, and all of the little small exchanges, the meme coin exchanges, or I call them the scam exchanges anyway. It's being traded, which is absolutely fine. So that one looks okay, right? And I think it's currently sitting at about $12 a coin, which is okay. Then the second one, that one looked a bit more iffy to me. So I'm just going to say be cautious, right? Especially when you're right at this time, right? What you should be focusing more on, right? So this is me having a go at you, right? So at this very moment, you should be looking at your entire bag. You've got 100 coins, 200 coins, 300 coins, whatever many different projects you have. Start looking at them and try and strategize what your exit's going to be, right? It doesn't have to, you don't have to set up and say, oh, I'm going to exit right now, or I'm going to exit there. None of that. Just strategize and say, okay, I'm going to set up orders or whatnot, right? And I highly advise this to everybody, because that's what I did the last couple of days, right? You want to set up your orders and say, right, okay, on exchanges if you're there. If you're not, and it's a different strategy, but do whatever is necessary, right? I can't advise you on everything. So what I'm saying is strategize. Say, okay, I'm currently sitting on a coin that's sitting at 10 cents. And this is just a rough example for all of you guys, right? It's sitting at 10 cents. I feel it's going to pump another 9x and it's going to go to $1, for example. Well, there's no harm setting an order for $1. So when it goes to $1, it automatically sells for you. If it goes higher, good luck, right? But have a strategy, whether you sell 50%, 10%, 20%, or all of it, it's up to you. But strategize on that, because what's going to happen is when that time comes, when the candles start to flip, right, or when we start to get a signal, because for me, there's going to be one important video, one important live stream that I am going to do at some stage, right, where I'm going to be announcing, guys, that's it, it's over, right? So imagine at that time, and I want you to really, really feel this and imagine this, right? At that time, right, whether you believe me or not, whether you trust me or not, it's a whole different story. But the point is I turn around and say, right, guys, market's about to over. We have a day, or maybe it's already over. Guys, signals in, it's already over. Sorry, it's too late, right? The market's about to crash. Do you have the time, right, or the patience to sit there and sell all 300 of your coins? That's the question. So it's a better opportunity to sit down and strategize and see like what you're going to do. So this is just the brotherly advice I'm giving to everybody. Strategize is very important. Currently back at 89k. I am looking at my chart because my chart is just right in front of me. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to look at. What I advise is don't look at some of the new projects and this and that. It doesn't matter if they're going to do 500x. It doesn't matter. If you're lucky, fine. If you got $100, $200 to risk, go and do it. That's not a problem. But focus on the ones that you already have, right, and see where they lead, and if it's a good opportunity for you to exit. Because I know a lot of you people have been holding a lot of bags, and a lot of altcoins haven't recovered. To be honest, a lot of altcoins haven't recovered. If people turn around and say, oh, altcoins are pumping 100%, well, 100% from where? If something went from $1 to 10 cents, and if it's now at 20 cents, and you're going to be all hyped up and excited about it, oh, it's gone, we just did a 1x on it. Sorry, you're still 9x away. Right, so think about that, right? So these are the things that you need to now start thinking, because if you're prepared now for what's about to happen later, then you're prepared, right? And you're ready, you're the boss, because you're going to be able to get back in and buy whatever. Now, on that note, somebody asked me just moments before I went live on Discord, I think it was Batman, he asked me, is there a probability of a pullback? So far, the charts are not telling me anything about a pullback. Now, if we did get one, it looks like if we are going to get one, it might be next week, okay? But the likelihood of it is more like 50-50. Next week looks like 50-50, but this week there's no signals. I don't see any sign of anything happening, or any signals giving me saying like, oh, we're going to have a pullback. So far, nothing. On a daily, we could have pullbacks, like, so we could have a daily pullback, we could have a 12-hour pullback, 8-hour pullback, 4-hour pullback. These things, yeah, we could have that. But so far, nothing on a greater time frame that I'm seeing. So on a weekly, I'm not seeing anything, right? So when I look at 5 days, I'm not seeing anything so far. You know, I'll be concerned if we're really, really overbought on a 5-day or a 3-day, something like this. Actually, while I'm saying that, I might as well check, right? There's no harm. Let's have a look and see what we got. Have we got anything on the... So on the weekly, we're fine. We're safe so far. I can see on the weekly, we're fine. Let's have a look at 5-day. Anything? 5-day, yeah, we are kind of overbought. But again, the weekly one is going to push is going to be more powerful than the 5-day. So it's telling me not yet. As I said, next week looks like there could be a bit of a thing, but then when we enter a parabola, none of these matter. We could have weeks and weeks of overbought, right? So do understand this. This is one of the reasons why it becomes really, really unpredictable. The more we get into the hype phase, because we haven't really entered the hype phase. A lot of people think we haven't, right? The way you know when the hype phase starts, right? When, for example, some of the alts that we are holding on, if they start pumping 2, 3, 400%, I'm talking about the greater ones, the bigger projects, not the small projects, right? So if they start pumping, like, you know, massive amounts, like if Ethereum goes to 6K all of a sudden, well, hold on, that's close to a 1x. That's when you know that, okay, now the hype has started. Because what happens is majority of the people who enter the market, they haven't got the money, 90 grand sitting around to go and buy a BTC. So what they're going to do, they're going to go for the next best one, which is going to be Ethereum, or the one after that, which is going to be like Solana or BNB or something like this, right? So the point is they're going to go for the smaller ones. And if the smaller one now all of a sudden pumps 100%, that's it. That's your signal. We're in a massive hype phase right now, right? So understand this. So that's what you got to understand. But so far, it's gradually moving. It's just compounding the percentage. There's nothing there. Market's just doing exactly what it's supposed to do, how it's supposed to do it. It's moving up. It's creating these mini so we don't really have a major one yet, but mini supports and resistance, right? And it's not even resistant, because when you're in price discovery, there's really no resistance, right? So technically we're just creating supports, which is a good thing. As we move up, we need to create supports. So if we move up 10% every day and then crash 5% and then create a support at that 5% level, it's great, right? And overall, the more times we do this, even if we create steps or whatever, it becomes a really, really good thing for us. So that's what we're looking for. So anything big, I'm not looking at a big pullback yet. And if we did get a big pullback, it could be the last one. This could be the one that we don't want, right? So far, everything is looking good. On the higher time frame, I'm still seeing so far, like it hasn't moved anyway. I'm still seeing 2 to 4 weeks, possibly even 6 weeks of more movement in the market. So think about that, right? Now, when we talk about milestones, one other milestone that I'm looking at that could kind of start off the parabola, which is what I really want to see, because that's when I'm going to be hitting that exit button. Well, exit as in what I've been doing is I've been setting up my sell orders, right? I've already done that. So most of my, in fact, I'll tell you this, right? This is complete honesty, right? Complete transparency. 25 of my altcoins that I've been holding since we were, I think, about 40k. So we were around 40k when I kind of dabbled into these, right? So about 25 of those I just sold yesterday, right? Gone, right? Why? Because I'm in profit. It doesn't make a difference. I didn't see the point in holding on to them because they are kind of very volatile, right? So of course, during a parabola, they could pump, but I'm not seeing enough movement there. I'm not seeing enough holders there. More people are dumping than actually doing anything. So I'm not sure how the price pumped, but it pumped, right? But we've had more sales than buys, and I'm like, okay, that's a weird one. Maybe it's got something to do with BTC, or maybe it's got something to do with the overall market structure. Whatever the case is, I want to dump, right? So I've dumped, I'm out. I've now taken that money and I've put it into something else, right? So similar way, I'm going to be setting up my what do you call this, my sell orders for these particular coins, except BTC, right? So the only coin I'm not going to be setting up any sell orders is the BTC, and I'm not going to be setting up any sell orders on the Ethereum, right? There's a reason behind this. Now, my BTC, my average for my BTC is my average buy, right? Let's just say average buy. Between last year and now, my average buy is $22,000, right? So technically I'm 4x up, right? If you just average it out. So I'm 4x up from where my average buy was. So I've bought below and I've bought above, right? So I've averaged out $22,000. So it's a no-brainer. Why would I want to sell that? So that I'm not selling, right? My Ethereum, my average buy is 900, right? Again, this is a no-brainer. I'm already 3x up, so I'm not going to sell those. Those ones, if I do decide to dump, I will probably dump later on, but I have no intention. And also, some of the alts that I've had, theoretically and technically, right, have given me more back in return than originally I've invested in the BTC and Ethereum. So that's how I've just done my maths. But again, you got to sit back and say, right, okay, here's my list of coins. Here's what I've done. Here's how I've performed, right? And this has performed better than that. So you got to make that call. You got to make that judgment. Everybody has their own strategy how you're going to do it. But for me, I'm like, okay, the alts are the highest volatility. If they dump 90%. And last thing I want them to dump again, right? So if they've recovered, I want to take my assets out and I want to keep the asset aside or plug it into something else and see where that goes, and then kind of rinse and repeat the same move. So I want to increase my portfolio, portfolio balance, let's just say it's more accurate. I want to increase my portfolio balance so that I can come back in again later on when the market dips, or if the market dips, right? Let's just say when, then I can just jump back in again. BTC sitting at $89,429 right now. So it's doing fantastic, right? So this is what it is. We need BTC to settle down, guys. Because currently BTC has not, right, and has not let go of its market cap. Its dominance, it needs to let go of its dominance. It's literally battling it out, right? So on different charts, you might see different things. Some people say it's about 53% dominance. Someone says 54%. Other websites say about 59%, right? So each one, I'm going to stick with the 59%. Even that doesn't matter, even if it's 50%. The point is it's literally holding half of the entire market share, right? Competing against like 4 to 5 million shit coins out there, right? And I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just saying other coins, altcoins, right? So think about that. That's what's happening right now. So what we need for it to do is constant Alex, hi, thank you, brother, no worries. What we need for it to do is literally come and stabilize, right? So far it's doing okay. Every day moves up or comes down a little bit. As long as we're hitting the mark and we're staying above a certain level, we're okay. I've been going on about 86. I think when we dipped yesterday or today, I think we dipped, we went to like 85.5, close to 86. Remember what the numbers I'm throwing at you, the numbers I've said, you know, and the truth is out there, right? I haven't changed my numbers. They are important numbers to me, right? So that's what it is, and I hope that kind of works. So if you guys do have any question, please do let me know. Of course, if I can't answer it, I'll just say no. But if I can, if it's like BTC related, definitely. If you're going to ask me about talking about certain coins, I won't, right? And I'm just being completely transparent with you. I don't see the point of talking about a particular coin right now. Whatever happens, you need to basically make that judgment call. Because we're at that stage of the market. Remember, when the market is totally bloody, when the market has given up, when everybody's lost faith, that's when it's the right time to go and buy anything, right? When the market has pumped already, or at this stage where we are at the peak of the bull market, right? So this is the peak, because after this is the end, right? At that time, if you are going to go and dabble, be careful, but you shouldn't really be dabbling into anything. Now it's time to take profit. All of that hard work and all that perseverance and, you know, all that patience that you put into these coins, this is your payout. This is what a lot of people have been waiting for since 2021, right? There's a lot of people since 2018 have been waiting for this. And what I mean by 2018, let me tell you, this is a lovely story, right? So there's a brother, he bought 2017, right? So this is the day it crashed. So a few hours before the market crashed on 2017, he bought £120,000 worth of BTC, right? That's all he ever bought. He never bought anything else. And just after he bought it, he was flying out, right? So the guys jumped on a plane, you know, got dropped off to the airport. He's on the plane. So he has no internet, no service, right? And the market crashed. So he was on an 8-hour journey on the plane and the market crashed. So he landed, and then the next thing, first thing he checked his phone and he can see the market's crashed. So he called and he's like, what just happened, and this and that. We're like, it just happened. So, you know, good thing, you know, it's good of him. Like, he could have panicked and he could have had a heart attack or whatever. He just, we were like, what do you want to do? And he's like, it was gone, right? This was my entire livelihood. He literally remortgaged his house or something. So he goes, I'm going to have to pay the debt anyway. But do you know what? Either way, I'm going to have to pay. So I'm just going to leave it there and hope it comes back. And then he asked me a question, and he asked a couple of my friends a question. He said, what do you think? Do you think it's going to come back? And we said, yeah, absolutely. We believe it's going to definitely come back. But it's just a matter of time. So this guy's been holding since January 2018. He's been holding it into his BTC. And of course, he's bought a few more. He's bought Ethereum and all sorts of. So he's now quite diversified, right? But he's been holding since 2018. And then in 2021, I said, did you sell? He's like, no. do you think it's going to go? I said, yeah. He said, well, I'm still holding. I've already been paying my debt. So what difference does it make? So when because I know exactly how many BTC he had, when I look at that number and I see, I'm like, do you know what? Your payoff's been great, because you can now, the mortgage or whatever, you could pay off all of it 5 times over. So it's been a good payoff, and he's been really, really patient with BTC. So whether he takes a payout now or not, I do recommend that. But if he doesn't take a payout, it doesn't matter. For me, the way I look at it is like, look, dude, if you can pay off your mortgage, right, just keep your BTC, but if you can take a portion of it out, pay off your mortgage, now you've got no payment, right? Go mortgage free, right? Why not? If you've got an opportunity to do it. So, you know, but that's what a lot of people have experienced. And, you know, in the community, I know a lot of people holding from day one, right? In fact, day one, here's a good one. Someone bought Cardano from day one. And so he's a Cardano whale, right? From day one. And I think his Cardano buys were like 1 or 2 cents or 3 cents or something silly like that. So imagine where he is now. Right, I looked at it, I was like, dude, you 20x your money, and it's not a small amount of money. So he kind of 20x his money. So it's good luck to him again. So there is a lot of people out there, but again, I say, guys, look at those. It's probably time that you want to be listen, you want to be a holder, you want to be a believer. That's absolutely fine, right? But it's not a bad idea to rinse and repeat, right? So if you think you've made money, dump it at a good time, and then when the market's bloody, buy, because you can 10x that amount again. And that's what a lot of people are making mistakes on. Yes, they have faith, they believe in it, right? So they're buying and they're holding, and they're seeing these massive swings. They're seeing BTC go from, and I'm not even joking, someone bought it at $8,000, right? So you see BTC at $8,000, now suddenly at $88,000 or $89,000. Well, you've 10x your money, right, in profit. So you've seen that, but then all of a sudden it's going to dump back all the way down, and then you're going to go into that emotional phase, and you're not going to see that again. Is it worth it, right? You're better off dumping it, in my opinion. Dump it, 100k, whatever it goes to, whatever level we're going for, dump it, and then just rebuy again, and you're going to enjoy life a little bit more, because now you're going to be able to have more than you had before. That's what you need to do. You need to be able to accumulate as many more, but do it the right way, not the wrong way. That's all I want to say. So of course, none of this is financial advice, guys. Again, if you have any questions, please do fire away. I don't remember everything everybody asked. I think I've answered some of the immediate questions that I remembered. I think I definitely answered those. But as I said, if you do have any questions, just don't ask me about what do you think this coin is going to do. Other than that, fire away. I'm here for that, for your Q&A. So I'm going to have a little bit of sip of water, and I'm going to wait a few seconds to see if you have any questions. Any questions, let me know, guys. Talking about milestone, one of the biggest milestone that I have is the $3 trillion. I was actually going to talk about that. The $3 trillion level is a very, very important milestone for us as well. I think when we hit that $3 trillion total market cap, I know on coin market cap, I think we're very close to that. On TradingView, we're currently a little bit different. So TradingView, we're at 291, right? So I think on coin market cap, we've already hit the 3 trillion, but here we're at 291, which means we're about 291, say about $90 billion away from the $3 trillion market. Now, I think if we hit that, that is a psychological level for us, because last time we hit 3.1, I believe, trillion dollars. If we can hit that $3 trillion level, I think it's another milestone for the entire market to get excited and more movement to happen. You know, because right now a lot of people are talking about it. Like, you know, a lot of people, any Tom, Dick and Harry, you know, everyone's talking about it. It's like, oh, this is going on. Oh, actually, I want to also talk about something else as well. There's a lot of nonsense going on about the regulations. UK regulations especially. So I'm here in the UK, I'm going to talk about UK, so most of my viewers are from UK. So let's talk about UK, right? So obviously the UK is kind of crypto friendly, right? What I mean by that is, if you're an exchange or an institution operating or doing something in crypto, they're fine. They don't have an issue. They just say, okay, we're going to have you to do extra checks, right? And anti-flight rules or whatever means, where did the money come from, or where is the money going to? Just ask these questions. So a lot of these questions need to be asked by these exchanges. That's all it is, right? So for these things to operate. Now, what I've realized recently, so there are a few exchanges, including Coinbase, by the way. What they're doing is, if you're not like, if you're just an average Joe, right, and you trade irregular, let's just say irregular. So I know someone who trades quite irregular, and I trade as well, but I'll tell you my experience, and then or what happened to me, and then I'll tell you or before that I'll tell you what happened to the other person. So someone doesn't trade as much, right? They, you know, maybe a couple of grand, that's all they've ever done, right? They just bought, held and waited, and then when it pumps up a little bit, they sold and they left. They received a message that they are not able to trade anymore. So they obviously went and checked, and they consulted me, and they're like, Sham, what's going on? I said, let me check. So we tapped a button, and guess what it said? They don't have a payment method set up. So we went to the payment method thing, and it said, we are closing your account. So what Coinbase is doing now is randomly just closing anybody's account. All right, and whatever they say, oh, after careful consideration, we decided to close your account. Consideration for what? The guy doesn't trade. So that's one. I've had the complete opposite. So I've had the exact same careful consideration, right? Because I do too much. So they want me to change the account to an institutional account. I'm like, seriously? No. It's okay. Thank you very much. No problem. So this is what some of the exchanges are doing. Also, MEXC. Someone mentioned MEXC just before I came to the stream. So again, UK government wants any exchanges to come and do all of these things. MEXC doesn't want to do that, right? So MEXC, if you go to the main website, what you'll see is there are a few specific countries that they do not allow those residents to buy, sell, or trade on their exchanges. And this is not something that's just limited to these exchanges. What you're going to see is over time, as more and more institutions and as more and more, as we go more retail, like, you know, mainstream, like as we go more mainstream, what you're going to notice is other exchanges are going to also do this across the globe, right? That's what's going to happen, because the regulators want to get in and say, all right, put some sort of a financial thing, because very soon your crypto, and I'm making a prediction here, very soon exchanges will provide protection against losses of crypto. That's going to happen very soon, right? As soon as they're fully on board, right? So some of these exchanges, they need to get in line and then have, of course, pay for the insurances and whatnot to cover the losses that people may have. And what I mean by loss, I don't mean by trading loss. I mean by like theft and XYZ, or exchanges being illiquid and closing, shutting down. So they don't want that. That's the key here. They don't want that. Right now, they do not have any responsibility. They've literally put our terms and conditions out there, and they washed their hands, right? And they said, we're not responsible for what happens to you, right? We're just going to hold it. You're just giving your money to us and trading with us, and we're going to hold it as a custodian for you, right? And at will, we're going to do whatever you want, but we're not responsible for anything. So even if we lose, we get hacked, we're not responsible. That's how they're playing the game, right? So, and that's going to happen. So once the more mainstream it gets, the more regulation is going to get involved, and more exchanges will kind of face this situation. Of course, the more they face it, they're just going to start geo-blocking certain countries. That's what they're going to do, right? And then they're going to operate with other countries. So it's a sad thing that I see, right? And then of course, some of the exchanges where they want the flight rules or whatever they call it, where did you get your money, how did you get your money, or how, you know, what you do for a living and XYZ. When they start asking these questions, if you turn around and tell them to F off, right, which is exactly what I told Coinbase, they tend to just come around and just shut your account off. Again, it's their loss. If they want to continue doing that, it's their loss. But the way they look at it is like, oh, crypto is going mainstream. We had 50-something million users. Well, there's no harm in us losing 1 million because we're going to get 10 million more. That's how they're looking at it. Fine. I don't see a problem with that. So, of course, that means I now have to, if I have to do an exit, like, for example, if I have to come back to fiat, then I have to find another exchange to do it. But believe me, there's plenty of ways to do it. That's not an issue. So, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. Let's just put it this way. So, it's sad, right? I've been with Coinbase for a very long time, and I've had a good relationship with them. I had no limits to how much I can buy and how much I can sell. Most of the times I've just bought, so I haven't really sold anything on them. This is the weird thing, right? I don't really sell anything on Coinbase. I usually just buy, right? And the other exchanges, or some of the other exchanges, I just buy, right? So I don't really sell. So for me, it's like one way. But I've had too many questions, and recently, well, I would say about 6 months ago, I did tell them to F off, and none of your freaking business, right? So they didn't like that. So they kind of said to me, so crypto, by the way, my account is still there. Please don't take this the wrong way. Coinbase didn't shut my account down. They said we are planning to shut your account down, but we can't unless you exit. So what I can't do is buy or send or receive any crypto. Sorry, I can't receive any crypto, I can't buy any crypto, and I can't trade any crypto on the exchange. They've shut all of those down. But whatever's remaining, including my staking and whatever coins that I have on my earning protocol, I can still receive those. So I don't have an issue, right? So they haven't just said, oh, that's it, we're not going to allow you to do anything. They've literally allowed the account to be still there. It's still accessible. And I'm free to take them out whenever I want, right? And I'm still earning from there as well. So that's the kind of thing you have to understand. So yes, the account's still there, even though they've officially apparently shut it down, which is weird. But I understand where they're coming from, because it's all of that regulation. So I don't blame them. I blame the regulations, but I'm actually warning you here that this is something that you're going to face more frequently, because a lot of exchanges around the globe, as we get mainstream, are going to face these kind of regulatory issues. And maybe a lot of them are not going to just get out there and follow the rules, and you've got situations, right? Because I know a lot of the exchanges are involved in creating a lot of these coins as well. Because let me explain this to you. You're gonna love this, right? This is crazy, right? So you create a coin, and you say, I want to launch it on your exchange, and they'll be like, oh, you got to pay us 100 grand. Okay, fine. You got to do this, you got to do that. Okay, fine. And some of them are like, oh no, it's free, it's fine. You just got to pass KYC, fine. But you never get listed, right? You have a robust project, but you never get listed. But then what you see these random scam projects, right, launch every other day, and like, hold on, he didn't pay 100k, neither did. So where is it coming? This is nowhere. It's not even on Uniswap, right? It's only on your exchange, and you got to wonder. It's like, okay, this is internal. So this is what I believe a lot of these guys are. And I think if the regulation comes in, they're going to get caught out. They're going to get caught out on scamming people. So that's what they just want to avoid it. So they're trying to milk the system as much as possible. Obviously, that's how I look at it. Anyway, you know. But anyway, each to their own. Listen, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. Each to their own. Let them do whatever they want. Currently sitting at $89,693. So again, guys, once again, if you have any questions, please let me know. My name is Sham. This is ZeroXFiles. We're live on the stream. The truth is always out there, as I always say. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll happily, as I said, I'll answer them. If not, then I'm not going to drag this any longer, because I did not intend to come on the stream for too long. Again, I can see a few people on the stream. Guys, if you're here, just say hi, right? At least I know who's on the stream. And as I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Costin Alex says good night. No worries, my brother. Thank you. Have a good night. I'll give you guys another minute, and then I'm going to shoot. It's been a long day, long day. Market's looking good. Market's looking good. So far, so good. I'm seeing everything stabilize. So I'm really happy with that. That's what matters. Mansa Musa says, are you getting into any DeFi resales this bull run, Sham? No, my brother. I'm not doing any of that. There has been a few, so I have kind of briefly mentioned, but I didn't mention whether I bought it or not. So on the last video I mentioned Yearn Finance. So not long ago I actually did dabble into Yearn Finance. So I'm not, how would I say this? I'm not doing DeFi. So for example, there were some coins during the kind of craziness that we had in the market, the bull market, the bear market, the bull run, bear run, whatever you want to call it, right? Prior to us coming to the 78k. I just left a lot of the coins that I just didn't see a point in selling into staking protocols. So there I was doing a lot of DeFi during that time. So when the market was kind of deciding what to do, whether it's going to go down, it's going to crash all the way down to nothing, or go to the moon. I did decide to lock my coins up and put them into staking protocols and earn from them, right? So some of them were, for example, Ethereum. I put that into the what's it called? Basically the validator rewards, right? So I was getting some rewards out the Ethereum from there, and that's still there. So I haven't really taken anything out there. That's still there. For example, mycrypto.com, that was on the crypto.com exchange earning, right? Because I use, what I do is I do shopping and everything on the card that I have with them. So I accumulated quite a bit, and I put that all on the staking, whatever they have, supercharge or whatever. So I was earning some shit coins from there, right? So I did that. Oh, you're talking about private sales? No, I haven't done any of those. No, brother, I haven't. So what I'm saying is, DeFi wise, that's the only DeFi I've done. And like USDC and USDT, not USDT, USDC, I was earning a nice little 4% on that one. Again, that's all I've done, right? So those are the only thing I did while the market was still deciding. However, right, as of yesterday, they're not, apart from Ethereum, the rest of them I've actually pulled out. So I'm not staking anything anymore, because now, as I said, I'm ready to sell. So for me, being locked in the staking wouldn't really work. So what I did was I took my bags off the staking protocols. I'm not interested in earning any rewards right now, because I want to earn rewards during a bear market, not in a bull market. So I took them out and I've put them in the exchanges to set up my orders. Hence why I'm not really doing anything DeFi. The only DeFi related coin that I did recently buy was Yearn Finance, and that's done very, very well. But again, it's just a little short-term thing. I'm going to buy whatever I can, obviously, and I bought that particular one, and I'm going to dump it very soon. That's how it is. I haven't done any private sales, any pre-sales. I haven't looked at anything else other than the ones that I've already had. Big part of that is, so I'm not sure if you're aware, Mansa, that not long ago, I would say it was in May actually, so yeah, not that long ago, I kind of lost my business, and that kind of impacted me quite a bit and put me into a bit of a financial trouble. And prior to that, I lost a large sum of funds as well due to some nefarious activity that happened as well. So, and then prior to that, I had some issues. So what happened was, for me, all of those things together became a bit of a problem. And then I had to make a decision. I was like, okay, I know what the crypto is going to do, but the amount of money I have and the amount of money I need for what I need to do, is it worth taking the risk in using that funds to get to where I want to through crypto? And the decision I came to was, no, it's not, right? I'd rather work myself or do whatever I need to pay my bills or whatnot, but I need that funds for something else very important. So I stayed in cash for as long as I could since that time, because as I said, I've been in a bit of a financial difficulty. So I just stayed away. However, some of the crypto that I already had, right, I left them as they were, so I didn't have to dump anything to recover, because that would have been the easiest way. It's like, okay, you either buy loads of crypto because you know the market's going to do this and you can trade it, right? So I could do this, it still pays the bills, right? I could do that, but I knew it was going to be a little bit more risky, and I couldn't really, it wasn't more financial, it was more psychologically. Psychologically, I couldn't take any more harm or any more of the crap that was happening to me. It was just overloaded. It was just too much, believe me. So I had to get rid of those, right? So I just left what I had, right? So whatever coins I had, left them where they were. I didn't sell anything and I didn't trade anything, and I've been very adamant about that. And then as I've recovered, now I've kind of dabbled into some of those things, and I'm nowhere near where I need to be, but I see at some stage, like I think in the next 6 months, I should be where I need to be, and then I should be fine. So I have mentioned briefly many times on my videos as well, and on Discord as well, I'm just trying to get my life back together, and this is part of that, right? So I've been taking as least the lowest amount of risk as possible, to avoid any any situation where I could literally be completely broke, right? Because I was getting to that stage. And as I said, it wasn't so much to do with finance. Money is nothing. Money you can make tomorrow, right? Money you can make, right? Money is not an issue. But the psychological, the mental impact that it has on me has been devastating. And I've mentioned many times, I've actually been in a little bit of a depression because of that as well. So, you know, yeah, I am kind of depressed. Hence why, you know, you don't see me much on YouTube or anything like this, or anywhere actually. I'm just kind of silent unless someone talks. So it is what it is. Sorry for your losses. Big wins on the way. Hope so, brother. Let's see. You know, as I said, skills pays the bills. So this is technically a strategy, right? So if I have the skills and I think I know what I'm doing, then I think in the next 6 months, I should be able to plant my seeds in a very specific way that I've planned, and I think it should be secure and it should mature very well, right? So whatever I do now in the next 6 months should have a good payout in another 5 years. That's the idea, basically. I'm not getting any younger. You know what I mean? And those are the kind of thoughts as well. So as a person, as a human, I'm just a normal human like everybody else, right? But I'm not getting any younger. And, you know, the recent events that have happened brought a lot of things to light for me, right? And one of the things that I realized is, you know, doesn't matter if I have brothers, sisters and family and blood relatives and everybody, right? And very close friends, very supportive friends as well, who actually come on YouTube as well, and subscribers. Even if I have all of those people, I've realized that there's nobody that can actually come and directly kind of take me out of my problem. I don't have anybody like that where they can pull me out of the situation. They can temporarily help me. Like, for example, when I had the first situation, or one of my very close friends, you know, he came and he's like, dude, here's my money, take my money and do whatever you need to do to sort yourself out. That's who does that, right? He did that, but of course I'm not going to keep that. So I was like, no, that's fine, we'll deal with it later. So similar way, like, I've had situations and I realized that I have to support myself and I have to do something that protects me in the future, right? The reason I mean is I didn't have any backup plans, because I've always been like all in, right? So I've never had a backup plan, right? And that's a very important thing for me now. I understand. I didn't have a backup plan, and that was a problem. So now that I'm getting older and you know, I am a little bit older, I think if something happens, and if everything for me goes south, I need to have a real backup plan, right? Where I could easily recover, you know? So, you know, but saying that, I know many people who have gone through similar situations as me and have never recovered, you know? And I have to be kind of appreciative, and I think God is looking down on me, that even though I suffered quite a bit, I managed to kind of bounce back very quickly. You know, it was a very short-term thing compared to many people. I know many people who have lost their lives or jumped off a cliff, right, or gone suicidal because they just can't recover in this situation. But I've just kept my head down and kind of focused as much as I could. And I think I've turned it around. And I believe in 6 months, I will find the results. And if the results are good, then I will be able to plant my seeds, as I said. And then 5 years down the line, and you know, I'll be welcoming Big 50, the Big 50 number, and hopefully looking forward to my retirement. Because if anything, all of this that have happened has taught me a lesson, right? Taught me a lesson. We don't live forever. We're not young forever, and we can't rely on anything or anybody, even a business or anything. Like, we can't rely on anything. You have to think about your future. So for me, you know, I've gone through a deep situation right now, and I know this is very personal. A lot of you guys probably don't want to listen to it, but it's been very deep and very personal for me. And I believe, you know, that I have to do whatever I need to focus on that, you know, and what I'm going to do when I retire, right? Or if I'm going to retire, right? That's very important. So I've been kind of thinking heavy, you know, am I going to be in the UK forever? Am I going to leave UK? Do I want to go to another country? Do I want to do something else? Do I want to open another business? Do I want to work? Or what do I want to do, right? How am I going to bounce back? And then how am I going to secure my future? That's what's more important, because God forbid something happens, I'm not able to work or get out or do any of the things that I do. I don't have any support. There's nothing. You know what I mean? That's the reality. That's the realization that I've had. And that's the one thing that's been kind of bugging me and eating at my soul, is like, what did you do? You've done so much in the last 20, 25 years, but you've always gone all in, right? And you've done really well. And you've lost and you've been cheated and all sorts of other stuff, right? But where's your backup? And that's the key. And I was like, that's what I need. I need a backup. So I'm kind of working on that, as I said. So apologies. I do sincerely apologize to all of you guys for sharing this kind of personal story of mine, but it's the reality, and I've always been transparent, I've always been honest, and I've always said to people, ask me and I'll tell you. Ask me what you want to know and I'll tell you. So even though you didn't ask, I thought I'd share it with you, and I hope you guys appreciate it. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? If not, then I think I'm going to shoot, but please do let me know if you do have any other questions. I'm happy to answer anything else. Probably this last thing was a bit long-winded, but you know, sometimes how would you say this, like, you know, those feelings, those deep feelings just come up, and as I said, I'm just a real person, and these deep feelings do come up, and it's part of my life. It's part of who I am. I can assure you there's many YouTubers out there who come and talk about all sorts of stuff, right? They want to make you feel sorry for them, or at least feel excited, or get loads of dopamine. I'm not that guy. I don't need anybody to feel sorry for me. I'm not here to give you dopamine. I'm just here to give you the facts and what I feel and my most honest opinion. And I hope that kind of helps you in the long run, if it doesn't in the short run, at least in the long run. And I hope in the future, if I've said some things, or if I've made some sort of a prediction or a call, and you remember me, and just come up and say, that guy said that. That's all. That's the most important thing. If you can turn around and say, he's the one who said that, I think I've achieved what I came out to do. You know what I mean? Because I'm not here every day. Remember this. I don't come every day. I don't have a schedule for YouTube and XYZ. So I'm looking at the total market cap currently sitting at 2.93 $2.93 trillion. Musa says, you don't have to apologize, bro. It's therapy. I think therapy. Okay, yeah, it is. And that's the thing, is that, like, for me, I'll tell you what, like, and there's a few people in my life who haven't been there forever. Like, some of these guys I've only known for the last couple of years. Some of these guys I've only known for like last 4 or 5 years. But what helped me go through the situation that I was going through, because I was really messed up, it helped me to talk. And you know what, I think everybody, and this is one advice I'm going to give to everybody, find that one person or two person or a few people that you know, where you can go and say anything. You can go and cry, someone who would give you a shoulder, right? And you can go and literally just let it out. Believe me, it helps, right? Because that's how I found my help, right? I was able to let it all out and sit down with someone for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and you know, it's not therapy, or it's not whatever you call it, like no doctors, none of it, just a friend. And I was able to let it all out and say, this is my heart, this is what's happening. And just by doing that, it felt so much lighter. And you know, and the person giving me good advice and kind of trying to help me rebound, right, and mentally, like, and that kind of helped me. So now I came back and I was like, I can think to myself, I can say, right, okay, I can have positive thoughts again, because it was all doom and gloom. It was all, I'll give up, right? You know, so yeah, that's what I'm going to advise. Find that one person. You'd be surprised. It might not be your immediate family member. It might not be your brother, your sister, your wife, your kids. It might not be, believe it or not, it could be someone completely random, but that's the person that's going to be the most helpful person out there. If you do have someone like that, then you're on it. Believe me, it does help. It does help. 89747 right now, so we're doing really well. Of course, I want to see it settle. As soon as BTC kind of settles a little bit, I mean, look, Wednesday is usually a good day, so tomorrow we should easily see 90k. I don't see an issue with that. But what I'm looking for is not BTC moving, to be honest. I don't really care if BTC goes to 100k right now. None of that matters, right? Remember what I said about the compounding? So they're all fine. What I am looking for is for BTC to settle down. Remember the support zones, create support zones, and the more times we can go and create those support zones, the stronger it will be. And then it will give it the alts a chance to move up as well, or catch up at least, right? So far the alts are doing fine. So even though some of the alts look red, they're not. Believe me, they're not. They've already done well, 30, 40, 50%. They've already done that. Some of them even done 100%. So remember this. As soon as BTC settles down, it doesn't have to be a red, it doesn't have to be a green, none of that. Just doesn't have to move. That's the whole key here. BTC doesn't move for a day or two. That will give the biggest opportunity to altcoins, for the altcoins to move again. So keep an eye out for that. And as I said, you know, all the advice I'm giving here is just brotherly advice. There's no financial advice here. So do whatever you want to do with your money, but make that decision, you know, and make those wise decisions, like, and think about the future. Like, there's no harm if you can cash out or do whatever you need to do right now and you take some profit or initial out. There's no harm, because you can always come back next time. What goes up will come down, believe me. So let's see where we go. Of course, my new target for BTC currently is sitting at 103. So I know, like, I jumped all the way from 86 to 103. Again, I have sent the screenshot on Discord. So those of you who are not part of Discord, you're welcome to join. It doesn't charge. I don't charge anything. It's completely for free, and I do publish certain things there. So just for reference, obviously. So yeah, that is there. So you can see the targets that I have, which is, so after 86,000, my new target was 103. So that's my target, and I'm just going to stick by that. There is nothing different. So that's that. Okay. So any more questions, guys, fire away. If not, then we're about 56 minutes in. Let me know if we're done, and then I'll just shoot off. Where's that KR? Because KR was the one who was insisting I do a live stream, and I said I'll do a live stream. Where is he? I don't see him on the chats. Where is he? No, I don't think anyone's here. Anyway, guys, I want to say much appreciated. Thank you very much for all of you guys who have come to the live stream. I do appreciate it. I just hope we had a little bit more people, then it would be a lot more better. And I hope we had a lot, you know, we had a lot more questions. Obviously, probably there are questions that you wanted to ask, but just because what I said, you didn't want to ask anymore. But yeah, thank you, my brother. Yeah, I appreciate all of you guys coming. My name is Sham, this is 0x5, and I always say the truth is always out there. And you know, I always try to be as transparent as possible, with as much as I can, right? So there are some things I might not be able to say, sometimes some things I might withhold for various reasons, a lot of the times to do with NDAs and whatnot, but other than that, anything else, guys, just ask me and I'll be happy to tell you. More importantly, I'll be always happy to give you my opinion on whatever subject, right? And it could be anything. You could literally, we could do a live stream and you could talk about aliens or history or whatever. And I'm well versed. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in anything. I don't claim to be an expert on anything, but I'm well versed in certain things, and I have my own theories. So most of the time what you'd find is I don't go off other people's theories or other people's strategies and, you know, connecting dots here and there. I don't like doing that. What I like to do is figure things out for myself and have my own opinion, say, well, actually this is what makes more sense to me. So it could be any subject, and we could talk about it. It's not an issue. So in the future, definitely we'll do a live stream and we'll talk about all sorts of other stuff if required or if necessary, or if that's something you guys want. But other than that, I thank you all again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for coming to the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. The very few of you who have chat, especially Mansa Musa, thank you very much for keeping the chat going. Other than that, let's catch you guys on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos.